Hello and welcome back to another update episode. It's really getting to the end of the season now. The weather's starting to turn really miserable. It's cold and the polytunnel and the greenhouse are starting to show effects from that. We're going to take a quick look around. There are still some peppers that are coming through that are ripening and quite a few that are unripe. I'm going to share with you a few strategies on how to get them to ripen. And I'm also going to share with you some ideas that I have for the winter time, some preparations that I'm going to be doing for not only the winter time, but also coming into spring next year. So join me for all that right after this. You'd never say that it's been under 5 degrees Celsius the last few nights, but it has, and the peppers are starting to show signs. You can see that the leaves are looking quite sorry for themselves. This light green, when that starts happening, it's just not getting enough light. And I kind of expect it from this one because it's being shaded a bit. There's still a bit of sunshine coming through, but it's not for very long in the day. It's getting darker a lot sooner and light a lot later. So these plants, you can still see some are ripening up. So I have been harvesting as I've been going, and been getting lots and lots of peppers that I've been starting some hot sauces with, and those videos are coming soon, so don't worry, there are quite a few on the way. But we can have a quick look in there. The greenhouse is still looking fairly healthy, but I can definitely see the signs of some problems. What do you expect when you're getting into the winter? Basically, this sort of thing, lack of light. It's going to start making the colors of the leaves go a bit lighter. You're going to realize that you shouldn't be watering as often, else the water will just be sitting. We can see that this is quite dry now, thankfully, because I have changed my watering schedule. I'm watering once every 4 days rather than twice a day now. And yeah, the plants are still looking fairly healthy. I was going to do something pretty drastic today, but I think that might wait for next week. Essentially, what I'll be doing to try and force some of these plants to ripen up. So obviously we have quite a few ripe in here, but some of the greener peppers, this time of year, gets quite difficult to get them to all ripen. So these sort of things here. Now peppers, they don't ripen the same way as other fruits. They don't respond, so if you stick a ripe banana next to most fruits, it'll force them to ripen. That won't happen with peppers. Peppers need light to actually ripen. So effectively, there's a few ways to do it, and the way that I like to do it is basically take the plants, cut them off. I'm quite drastic with it. I'll cut them off at the base, and I'll hang them upside down in the greenhouse or in the polytunnel. We'll see which... I'll probably have to use both, and yeah, let them ripen like that. And it might sound drastic, but it's the best way to do it. You don't want the roots starting to rot because of how cold it is. The plants themselves, they won't necessarily freeze, but the roots they will, because there's a lot of water inside the soil. So I'll probably do that next weekend. I will show you how I'm going to do it if it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. But you can see here there are quite a few peppers that still need to ripen, and the risk you have is if the plant dies while these are still on it, it could end up causing these not to ripen and potentially rot themselves. Anyway, let's go have a look inside the polytunnel. It's going to be similar to what we see in here, and we'll see how the plants are doing in there. So I've been harvesting quite a lot inside the polytunnel, and you can see things are starting to fall over. They're not as healthy as they once were. You can definitely see the effect that I was talking about earlier on these leaves. You can see how light they've gotten, and yeah, that's the effect that the cold has. It's not necessarily the cold exactly, it's the fact that the soil itself is going to start freezing. The roots really do not like to be cold, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but if the roots freeze, if there's any sort of frost on the roots themselves, these plants will actually die. And we're getting very close to that now. I would say in the next week or two we'll definitely have some hard frost that will cause the plants to die off. So before that happens, what I'm going to do is pretty much cut them at the base, and I'll be hanging them up on the poles over here, and that will just stop the the plants from thinking that they're dead. So I'll show that to you next time round, and it hopefully will make a bit more sense. So even though I have been harvesting, there's still a whole bunch more coming through. These will ripen okay, even without doing what I'm going to do to them next week. But you see lots of ripe ones in there. And the other reason I'm going to be cutting them back is just so I can get to them. Some of these plants I can't actually get to. I'm sure there's some peppers hiding away in the bushes here that I need to get hold of, and it's just a bit difficult to actually access them when the plants are like this, especially with some of the weeds that are coming through back there, the stinging nettles, which are no fun. Anyway, let's go have a look inside the shed, and I'm going to show you what I'm getting up to in there during the winter time. Let's take a look inside here. This is a massive shed, and there's a reason I bought such a big shed. It's because I needed the space, of course, but I always planned to have a bit of a grow room in here. Now, this is a 16-foot shed, so 16 across the back wall there, and I want to split it probably up to where the door is. We're going to have this whole unit over here, which I think is about 5 feet, maybe 4 or 5 feet. I'm going to clean out this whole section here, and I'm going to turn this into a bit of a grow room. One of the benefits of making videos on YouTube is that sometimes companies will reach out to you and want you to test their products. So they'll send you free samples and things like that. Sometimes they'll contact you and ask you specifically to promote the product. And in those situations, I will be very candid with you when that happens. But the product I'm going to be talking about today is from a company named Mars Hydro. I was looking them up on Amazon anyway, because they have some grow lights that I was interested in, and it was very fortunate for me. They reached out and said, hey, do you want some of our grow lights to test? And I said, absolutely, why not? So you've obviously seen the Spider Farmer lights that I unboxed in a previous video. Those are going to go head to head with the Mars Hydro, as well as the COB lights that I've purchased previously, and the T5s as well. And it'll be interesting to see how they all perform against each other. So let's go have a look at the Mars Hydro lights that we were given, and also something else. I chanced my luck. They listened to me and sent me out something else as well. So let's go have a look. So first things first is this light over here. I haven't actually opened this. I received it just after I came back from holiday, so almost a month ago now, I think. And been quite keen to open it up and have a look. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is quite a long light, which is going to be very handy for my seedlings, because I'm intending on using my grow bed that I created, my hydroponic grow bed that's inside the greenhouse at the moment. I was intending on using that to start my seedlings next year. So this light here is from Mars Hydro. I'm actually getting a second light from them as well. And what I'm thinking of doing is a little bit of a giveaway. Depending on which light will work better for what I'm trying to do, I will give away the other one. So keep an eye on that for a future video. But that's a solid light. So a major heat sink there. I don't think there's any fans on this. So the same as the Spider Farmer, it's a silent light. It's got quite a hefty power supply, but yeah, I'll go into more details on that when I actually set this up. But for now, let's just put this back inside. I do love gadgets. Who doesn't? So let's have a look at the other one. This over here is a grow tent. So when Mars Hydro got in contact, it's telling me not to use a knife, but sorry, I'm going to use a knife. When Mars Hydro got into contact with me, I thought, oh, well, let me just ask the question, because if you don't ask, you don't get. And I said, you know, I'm interested in setting up a grow tent. What do you have for me? And the lady that I've been speaking to said, hey, I got just the thing. And this is what this is. I'm not going to unpack the whole thing right now because there's lots of bits and pieces, and I'm going to wait until we have my setup in the shed. I need to clean that out, but well, there we go. That's the instructions. I'm not actually entirely sure what size this is. I think it's the bigger one, the 120 by 120 by 200. So yeah, interesting. So that's a couple toys from Mars Hydro. The quality of that light actually feels really solid, and this grow tent as well. If I'm looking at this material, I was kind of expecting a very thin material, but that seems rather substantial. And the zips as well, solid zips. I'm quite pleased with that. So yeah, we'll definitely be talking about this a lot more once I set it up. So it's been a really busy weekend for me. I've been filming a lot of my source videos and doing some editing, getting a few things sorted out inside my studio, and also trying to get a lot of work done on my recipe book. I'm yet to finish it. It's still on target to be finished by the end of this month, so that I can get the printing and all the other stuff done as well, so that hopefully by 1st of December you guys can start purchasing it and fill some Christmas stockings. I've also got some really exciting news I wish I could share with you. I probably shouldn't say anything because it's not fair on you guys, but I can't help it. It is really exciting, and it's something I'm going to be doing the first weekend of November, and it's something that came about over the last few weeks that it's really going to be cool. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm excited personally for this, and I know that you guys are going to love it. So make sure you are subscribed if you aren't yet, and you just do not want to miss out on that. Anyway, time for me to wrap up this video. I need to go spend some more time with my wife, and I hope that you guys are having a fantastic weekend as well, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, stay spicy.